Well, I got another list article, another fun list. This is the 6 of the strangest gods and deities from around the world. Number 1, Loki. Loki isn't exactly obscure. You know the Norse trickster god, at least from the Marvel character that's based on him. But his antics sure did get strange at times. In one story, for example, the gods told a certain giant he could marry the goddess Freya if he built an impossibly large wall. Now, in Marvel, isn't Freya his mother?
Yeah, in the movies, she is.
But to the god's surprise, the giant got close to succeeding, being aided by his giant stallion. Not wanting to lose Freya, the gods told Loki to stop the giant. Later, they probably wished they'd given Loki more specific instructions. That's because Loki, an adept shapeshifter, decided to turn himself into a mare. He then lured the giant stallion away, and let's just say that's how Loki, a male god, ended up giving birth to eight-legged horse Sleipnir.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Didn't Zeus do that shit too? Like, he'd turn into shit and fuck shit?
I know he'd turn into like animals and fuck women.
Yeah.
He never was like, I'm gonna go seduce this stallion over here.
I feel like banging animals was really popular back in the day.
I'd like to see that slip into the Marvel universe.
You know, it's true.
I think that became like Zeus's horse as well.
I feel like there is a lot of animal fucking in like Greek mythology. So you got to think, were they just fucking animals all the time? Is that how it got into so many of their stories?
I saw this TikTok with this Italian guy. He was talking
Socrates is like, I'm just like sick of women. No, sorry.
This Italian guy was talking about how in Italy, like they have this, or people around the world have this image of Italian guys being like very romantic and getting like being ladies' men. And like in real life, he's like Italian guys are like banging goats and stuff in the countryside.
It'd be funny if you read Socrates and Plato and you're like, it's just all about horse fucking. Number 2, Mutunus Tutunus. Mutunus Tutunus was a minor Roman deity of marriage, and he looked like a giant penis. In the days of the Roman Empire, there was a significant shrine to this god in Rome. During the Roman marriage ceremony, brides were supposedly taken to the temple before being married off. At Mutunus Tutunus' sanctuary, they would then straddle a stone image of the god. So yeah, before marriage, Roman women got to ride with a dildo god. The ceremony, as far as we're aware, was supposed to somehow teach the young brides not to be embarrassed about sex. We suppose after you've crawled over the biggest penis of them all, normal sex kind of loses its mystique. But like, did they actually like fuck a stone dildo?
That does not sound good.
That does not sound pleasant. I do not know how to pronounce this one. Magshishkapu. According to the ancient legends of the Native American Innu people living in Quebec and Labrador, spirits regularly talk to people. How exactly they choose to communicate depends on the spirit or deity itself. Magshishkapu has a particularly creative way to speak to his adherents. How does he do it, you ask? Well, he's also known as the Fart Man. Magshishkapu declares his will entirely through people's flatulence, and when he speaks, you will listen. That's because Magshishkapu is, despite his humorous nature, an extremely important figure in Innu mythology. He's one of the most powerful of all spirits and has the ability to control both animal and human behavior. So after you're done chuckling after ripping a particularly loud one, you better quickly go carry out the god's will. That seems like an excuse you could use for farting.
Lester's going to use that.
Magshishkapu made me do it.
He's his avatar.
Speak to me, old toothless one.
Number 4, Qualimos. We know very little about the mythical Greek figure of Qualimos. It's not entirely clear if he was a full-fledged deity or just a spirit entity otherwise known as a daemon. But what we do know is that he was dumb. How dumb? He was the personification of stupidity and foolishness. Even his name highlights how stupid Qualimos is. One theory posits his name derives from the words queo and elios, translating roughly to hear foolishness. In other words, his name is Dumbass. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly what Qualimos did when his name was invoked, but we bet it was something stupid.
He's placed his blessing on most of the human race.
That's the god I'm going to pray to. Qualimos.
Orbit confusion.
Nerd. Number 5, Cardia. Cardia doesn't really have any strange stories about her. Instead, her weirdness comes from her hyper-specific domain. She was the goddess of hinges, you know, like those on your door or any box with an attached lid. She ended up with the job after turning down the advances of the god Janus, who then, being the outstanding gentleman he is, raped her. After ravishing her, Janus declared that Cardia would rule over hinges for all eternity. How petty can you get? But despite her sad origins, Cardia serves a pretty significant purpose. Together with 2 other gods, Forculus, the god of doors, and Lamentius, the god of thresholds, she opens the passage from the realm of the gods to the mortal world. It's an important job that hinged on Cardia. And then finally, number 6, Xochipilli. He looks scarier than you'd expect. Xochipilli from the Aztec mythology had a lot on his plate. To begin with, he was the patron god of homosexuals and gay prostitutes. But Xochipilli didn't just rejoice with the boys. He was also the protector of writing, painting, dancing, singing, and the strategy game Patoli. His name translates to the Flower Prince. But it wasn't just any kind of flower he safeguarded. Oh no. Xochipilli was the god of psychoactive plants like tobacco and magic mushrooms. Based on this, Xochipilli clearly just wanted to get high and have a good time with his bros. So there you go. The god of
Xochipilli.
homosexuals and gay prostitutes. And he's into drugs.
All right.
That's a god that likes to party. In a very specific way.
I feel like that's a conservative's nightmare, a Republican's nightmare. Gay and drugs.
Yeah, we should bring that back. Be like, we're religious. We worship Xochipilli, and you should too.
Door to door.
Oh yeah, I want to get a pamphlet for people.
Xochipilli.
The Church of Xochipilli.
Have you heard the good word?
A magic mushroom in every brochure.
Open your heart and anus to Xochipilli.